one of my favorite authors, Mark Lawrence. This is The Liar's Key. Great book. Mark Lawrence, guys, if you want to read some fantasy, this dude is like super witty. His sentences are just, it makes you think. And he's got a lot of, man, the best truths are told through stories. There's this part in here, and I'm going to read it to you real quick. This is pretty funny. I did this to my general manager today. I tried this on him. And it was just this boy named Henan, and the main character here is named Jalen Kenneth. And he says to the boy, he says, I held out a silver crown between two fingers to take his mind off it. You can have this coin, or you can have the most valuable piece of advice I own. Something a wise man once told me and I've never shared. Well, I asked. The boy Henan furrowed his brow, staring at the coin, then at me, then at the coin. He reached out, then pulled his hand back. The advice. He blurted it out as if the words pained him. I nodded sagely. Always take the money, he said. Henan looked at me uncomprehending as I stood, pocketing the coin and pulling my blanket tight. Wait, what? Henan's confusion giving way to anger. Always take the money, kid. Bankable advice. That's bankable advice. So anyway, I went to my GM today and I told him, I said, I pulled out $1 from my wallet. I said, listen, I tried contacting Warren Buffett. I emailed him and his partner. You know who Warren Buffett is, right? Yeah, he's like the richest man on earth. He was the richest man on earth. Well, I emailed him and his partner decided to email me back. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. This dude's so rich. It's Warren Buffett's partner. I like built it up real big. And I said, would you take this $1 or do you want the advice? And he says, yeah, man, give me the advice. Let me hear the advice. I said, always take the money. I pulled back, and anyways, that was really funny to me. So if you guys want to try this on, you should probably use a coin, because I don't know if he was not taking my $1. He was probably, the only reason I got away with that is because he didn't want to take my money. You know, he's pitying me. hopefully, you know, anyone else, they would probably take the money. So, also, like I said, fiction, fantasy, some of the greatest truths are told through stories. And I want to read you, this is about half a page, but what Jalen, at this point of the book, what he's going through, he's having a dream. And it's one of the most vividest dreams that he's ever had. He's going back in his memory to when he was a young boy. And he's remembering holding his mother's hand and the feel of her hand around mine, and what the feeling meant to me at age 7. What an unbreakable bond of trust it was, my small hand in her larger one, an anchor in a sea of confusion and surprise. Anyways, this next paragraph he goes on to say, let me just read it to you, and I'll leave you with this. Think about this. It's very cool. He says, we think that we don't grow, but that's because growth happens so slowly that it's invisible to us. I've heard old men say that they feel 20 inside, or that the boy who once ran wild and with the recklessness of youth still lives within them, bound only by the constraints of old bones and expectations. But when you've shared the skull of your child self, you know this to be untrue, a romance, a self-deception. The child carrying my name around Vermilion's palace sees the world through the same eyes as me, but notices different things, picks up on different opportunities, and reaches his own conclusions. We share little. This Jalen Kenneth and me were separated by more than a gulf of years. He lives more fully, unburdened by experience, not yet crippled by cynicism. His world is larger than mine, though he has barely left the palace walls, and I have trekked to the ends of the earth.